Okay, so we start out this review with the monster coming out of the ground, and I think what's going on is this thing's either got some prairie on its head. This thing I think is buried in the prairie. If you watch this footage, you've got our deer here in front of us. It's a whitetail coming up, and they're all little whitetails, Florida key deer. But you can see this thing is like in there. I mean, you can get the sasquatch kind of thing, but this is like a flatter head, like almost as if it came out of the ground, it would have its face on its chest, and you can see it's got like a line coming back this way, and I think this might be hair, but you can plainly see this thing. It's got eye shine coming, and going through the footage, you can see how big are these things. Well, they're enormous, and they're in prairies here in Florida for sure. You can tell. You can see that quintessential Sasquatch kind of nasal cover there, and eye shine is obviously freaky, along with that big upper lip. It's all non-human symmetries, which tells you it's what it's supposed to be. And when you look at stuff that has human symmetries, understand what that is for what it is, and it's real easy to tell. I mean, we're looking at something that is, while you don't want to admit you're staring at it, it's data. It's not about belief. This is what we're finding, and you can see these enormous things, and there it is, and it's there, and the data is corroborating all through this single thing here. All the math of symmetries, all the daylight eye shine. So we're looking at biological, physiological, characteristics interacting with the sunlight, and the nocturnal aspects of the creatures, where he's bouncing back light so brightly it's picked up in the daylight camera. The mouth, the symmetry of the mouth, and how it equals out to a big face with lots of flexion. That face that goes back on about a 45-degree angle with an extremely flat nose, looking primate with huge ears off the back. It's just got a much flatter head, this particular individual. But he's also able to, squish himself down in there, and really that's his nature. He's hiding. This is a giant, human type primate of some kind, and they're accustomed to digging, and so when we look at Florida's environments, they're perfect for this type of creature, and we're getting soft, loose soil in so much of the environments that these creatures inhabit, and we're able to see from conclusively from extensive study in these areas that this is what's going on. And what we're catching in this particular situation, where we're able to view this incredible creature, is this particular guy has been embedded out here in this prairie. So he's probably dug himself a nice size hole, and other creatures probably helped cover him up. And a group of these things that we were studying in the forest to the left-hand side here, we were inside the forest for hours studying, and we had them around us and trying to catch them on film. And it was time for us to get going. It was late afternoon, and we left, and we came out to the trailhead, and suddenly there was all this crashing behind us, and it sounded like something huge was chasing something that was screaming. The deer came running out onto the road at the trailhead from the forest, ran across the road into this prairie, and this was there waiting for them. So what we think we've witnessed, and we're able to document, is some of this behavior that they engage in to try to drive deer into the places where the group can actually benefit from it. And I think this is a hunting strategy, and possibly some teeth showing there. I mean, this is some incredible footage. When you look at it, these are the creatures that we're studying now. They appear to be much larger than typical Sasquatch, and as you can see, they seem to be embedded in the environment to a degree that human beings, although they're enormous, just cannot tell. When you combine their ability, their instinctive abilities to dig and dig in and camouflage themselves with the fact that they're achromatically colored, that is to say, any hue of color spectrum can be on them at any time and they blend in. So if they're a round cover, that cover emits frequency. The sunlight hits it and it starts to broadcast and it has this glow. Human beings have limited to next to no vision in reality, and we can't see all that glow, but that glow is registering on this creature's face in point of fact, and he's changing colors as we're watching. Different sections of his nose changes colors. It turns green, it turns white, it turns gray. There's quite a bit of color change going on in that. And again, we got the eye shine thing going on there. But there's so much footage of him, and at distance that, when we were standing there, we couldn't really tell what was going on, because this is zoomed in on the film, but also I had my zoom lens on, and so I was zooming in on him from a considerable distance, probably around 125 yards. It was about a 400 millimeter lens, I think, at that time. Look at that mouth movement, man. It's incredible. He's just over there moving his mouth, and you can see his lips are closed, and then they're open a bit on one side, and he's kind of moving his face. We're getting lots of eye shine inside this. Here you can see his eyes, a little nostril hole movement there, possible hand up to the face, I don't know. But the frames are incredible, because this is the type of thing that, when you first learn that this is the type of thing they'll do, it's studying the small ones, but you don't expect that they're just going to dig an oval-shaped hole even if they're 17 foot tall. They're doing exactly the same things to be where they need to be to eat. And is this something coming up around it, or is this ear, or what is this? We have further study to do on this. I actually believe this might be like a smaller one peeking up over it or something, because they hang out together like that, and it's actually kind of unnerving when you really get in close and you kind of see there's like a ball of these things moving around, and they're all over each other, intertwined, and they hang on to each other, and the smaller ones are hanging all over the bigger ones, and this can be quite a bit to absorb. But I think with the earth shaking the way it does now, we're moving into a time period where it's potentially that time where these things are going to reveal themselves. And I'm trying to get you guys as much information as I can, about this species, and learn as much as we can while we can, obviously, and we have so much footage of them, and it's just incredible. I mean, look at this. The deer are just out front and kind of minding their own business, and if you think about it, this would be the way to do it, because the deer don't suspect this, and this guy, all he's got to do is sit still, and you can see if they drove these deer closer, say around this area, so 30 feet maybe closer to this thing, we may have witnessed a deer being grabbed and pulled into the ground. You never know. And I look at everything that's been going on, and it's like, it's nuts. I mean, just knowing there's some real-time footage of it right there. You can see the deer are just kind of bobbing their heads around, and they don't even know. You can see eye shine the whole time. And so, we're going through all this footage that we got, and you can see the deer crossing the road going back into the forest, and the creatures that drove them out are laying on the levee. This thing goes down in there, and he's laying there watching these things and watching us, really. But it's just unnerving, man. And they're so smart, and they're so adept at hunting. There's not much you can do about it, They're there, and we have to. This is how it looks when we're there, and it's like this. Now I'm adjusting the footage, to try to make it so we can see this thing a little bit better and reveal some of the depth that's there. And yeah, and see, now we can see a little bit more depth in like facial movements, and you can see his mouth is moving there. It's opening and closing. And I had one frame yesterday. I got an image of it. I'll try to find it. I took hundreds of still images off this, and it's actually got a circle. Its mouth is in like an O form, and it just looks like, you know, the quintessential chimpanzee mouth. And it's just something else, man. The creatures are incredible. As we go through this footage, we're getting a good look at something that mankind hasn't been able to see in a long time. And I really think that's what this is. I think they're coming up, guys. And while we're witnessing obvious hunting strategies, and we're only just now becoming aware that this is even possible, and that's probably 99% of what's really going on, things are ramping up, and we need to pay attention. So let's keep adjusting here and see. There we go. And let's see if we can get some more facial. Look at the eyes, just unbelievable, man. We're getting the light come bouncing out of there. Oh, we got mouth movement again. It's just a little, because look, he's hunting. He's sitting still like a turkey hunter. Look at the eye shine coming out. Boom. We got eyes. Lots of eye shine. Lots of eye shine. Well, we're learning a lot about how they hunt, and this, I think, was one key discovery. And so we're going to keep on this particular thread. Look at this face. Let's get zoomed in a little bit too on this. Let me crop it. And here we are on the side of the road, as you can see. And let's see if we can get in. Oh yeah, man. Let's get a little bit more light on it. A little more mid-tone. A little less of that. There we go. And we're getting these things. And we've caught them. Oh, look at the nostril flared up. Has he got a hand up, finger getting ready to go in there? Eye shine. He's buried in the ground, so we're getting, the brow is up here. The eyes are in the dark spots, and it's turning green because it's laying in green prairie. Appears to have a smaller one peeking up over its back. Their heads are not pointy all the way like a lot of these other ones. They're just rounded like this. And I think what we're seeing is like the face on the chest kind of people. And that these people pretty much are like troglodytes, and they just kind of like don't mind like staying in the ground. You know what I mean? You can see the eyes, the brow. Look at this. It's nuts, man. Look at this footage. It'd be one thing if this math wasn't consistently in agreement, but I think earlier we showed the video where this thing was looking around, and you could see the eyes moving back and forth. It's nuts. The mouth has different angles. We're getting mouth movement on both sides. So, you know, what I'm telling you is a mouth is displaying mouth traits. This is what we're looking at, some solid data. I think this creature is in front, and there's something behind it, and it's just difficult with the two-dimensional aspects of recording and how it flattens out things. But we can obviously tell with you know, the amount of study we're doing, and you can see it yourself here. We know they like to be in a line. I think personally there's probably other ones in the prairie, and we're just witnessing this. But look at the eyes shine coming. It's bouncing right out of there. You can see the traits that we always talk about, the spade-shaped nose. The lights catching and changing colors and offering no mercy on us here, man, with this guy in the prairie. But we got some really good frames of him so far. I mean, look at this. Look at this. He's like chilling out in there, man. Look at the mouth moving. It's nuts, man. Look at that mouth movement, man. There you go. He's wrinkling his face up on the right side. Nice. And the eye thing is incredible in this. Again, huge creatures. This is about 125 from us again. 125 yards. We had a bunch of deer bust out. Between 6 and 8 deer. 4 of them were, or 3 or 4 of them were little. And then we got this thing. And wow, you know, the amount of movement that's going on out there is, there's other things in there, and you can see there's stuff moving. His face is moving, but it seems like there's something down in here in between the deer and him. Are they using the little ones? Are the little ones crawling out, and this is how they learn how to hunt? They start there and they end up in the ground directing when they get big? I don't know. But you can plainly see that thing. There's even some glare coming off his upper lip. That is something else right there. Is there something else next to him? Yeah, it's possible, man. They jam up in a line. That's what I was, It could be a whole line of them in here waiting for these deer. And that's what I'm saying. Like, with their faces down, you'd never be able to tell. It'd just be, you just would be gone. Nobody would know. He went in the prairie, they'd say. He was in the prairie. He was in the prairie. He was in the prairie. Look at this thing. It's huge. It's huge. Huge friggin' guy. Well, there he is. And we're working on getting... This is actually from 2015. And this particular footage is actually probably shot with the 1080p Canon XA20. So there you go. We had a bunch of deer bust out on us, and looking at the footage that we shot here at the beginning of this, there's other creatures here. We got him. There's no doubt about it. You can see him back here. I mean, he's looking good. But when the deer start crossing the road over here, look what we got here. We got a guy leaning out. So the center line of his face is on a 45. So his forehead is this line, and his cheek is showing, and he got his nose here, and it's just incredible, And as the frames go through, man, we got incredible footage of this guy. He's moving. He's got a little movement in place. He's hanging out with somebody else. There's darker creatures in there, but the footage of him, he's incredible. Look at this. Look at this thing. This is that, what is that, his ear? I'm not sure, man, but you can see the nose. This is that quintessential, pissy-looking Bigfoot creature. And I don't blame him. He's losing his deer. Look at this. Look at his brow ridge moving and all this. We got eye shine in there, nostrils showing here and there. It's interesting. It's all about the food and the hunting. And, we got great frames showing this other skunk ape. Here he is, and then here's this skunk ape right next to him. And there's some really good frames of it. As we go through here, you can see there's movement. We got him. Nice eye there. The skunk ape up here is pretty incredible. The footage is nuts. You can see. Here he is. On the angle. Nose where it's supposed to be. Wrinkled up forehead right in the center. Mouth lines. Everything's there. And it's incredible witnessing this, over the course of the last 10 years and everything that we've learned. It's just been incredible. And we got the skunk ape shot here. You can see his head, forehead, big eye sockets, the nose, the long upper lip, the mouth, and it's got that round, it almost looks like a damn Simpson character. You know what I mean? But that's really what they are. They're cartoonish, and they blend in something fierce, man. You can barely see that. But this other guy, you can see a little eye shine. He's down in here. There's a leaf or somebody's hand on his head. They're a trip, man. They hang out together. You can see he's in there moving around. There's other movement going on around there. It's probably just a group of them watching us. So we're learning a lot about these things, and over the course of our study, we've made significant strides in learning how to catch them on film, as you can see. If you'd like to support the Crypto Reality Study, it's on Patreon now, and it'll be moving to a private website very soon. Be advanced. We're going to keep Patreon going though, and for live field updates and that kind of thing. So join us today on Patreon, Crypto Reality Patreon. We have 3 different tiers. The in the field tier is $10 a month, and you get personal instruction. You email me, ask me your questions. We get together. We can have private meetings, and I can help you with your field research, or if you got stuff going on your property. But hit us up at studythemnow@gmail.com. Have a great day, Guy. Thanks for liking our videos.